Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Building Championship Mindsets, the podcast. This is your host, Dr. Amber Selking, where we are in season 12 entitled A Decade of Greatness. In this season, we are celebrating the last 10 years of the Selking Performance Group and the journey that we have been on as an organization to help individuals, teams, and organizations really understand and leverage the power of mindset and leadership to unleash performance excellence. It's crazy to me to consider that I've been running this company for 10 years. I still remember the day I incorporated my LLC. I was sitting in a Starbucks in this coffee shop in Denver where I was doing my master's degree, and I filled out all the paperwork and I submitted it. And I was like, and now I'm an entrepreneur. So I literally later that evening, someone's like, I met someone new and they're like, oh, so what do you do? And I was like, I'm a consultant. They're like, really? And I was like, yeah, it's called the Selking Performance Group. And we help individuals with mindset and leadership. And so we're going to help people and teams and companies really figure out how they can help people be great and win. And so it was real choppy at first and I had 0 clients, but I knew that's what I was meant to do. And so it's been so fun to see just the growth over the last 10 years. And what this season is really intended to do is to reflect on what have been the critical success drivers to this company growing and the impact that we've been able to have, and how can we all apply these drivers to our own personal and professional journeys. And so in true fashion, the number one driver that I'm going to start with here in episode 2 of season 12, the driver is mindsets. What drives success? Our mindsets. I firmly believe that, aka I've spent the last 10 years of my life dedicated to learning about how the brain works, how it impacts how we show up, how people can actually build high-performing, healthy, productive mindsets, how we can break down unhealthy, unproductive, low-performing mindsets in individuals and organizations. And so that's my first driver to share with you of what's led us to success. It's mindsets. And not just any mindsets, championship mindsets. When I say building championship mindsets, like that's literally what I believe drives success. Because, mindsets is sort of this buzzword in our world today that I really don't think people understand the magnitude of what a mindset is. So just so you know, a mindset is not this buzzword, this title of a book. A mindset is actually a protein pattern that gets wired into your brain based on what you think about. And so I tell people that thoughts are like mental reps for our brain. When we lift dumbbells like this, our biceps get bigger. It grows as we have that resistance and we have that strain and we repeat it over and over, that bicep gets bigger. Thoughts are like bicep curls for your brain. Thoughts are mental reps that literally change the form and function of your brain and build brain matter. And so the crazy thing is, we have mindsets about everything, a patterned way of thinking about ourselves, about the world around us. And so we need to understand that we need to be very mindful of what thoughts we are repping because they're building mindsets. And so just like I believe our mindset at Selking Performance Group, the mindsets that we've had or patterned ways of thinking, like one mindset that I have is we can change the world. One mindset that I have is that humans are good and great. There's goodness and greatness inside of every person. And if we can get them how to think, teach them how to think right, that can come out to the world. I believe that. That is a mindset that myself, that our team here at SPG believes in, or we wouldn't be doing the work that we do. Right? I have a mindset that we can shift the trajectory of an organization regardless of its size if we can get with a senior level leader and help them start to shift the way they think and that they construct the system that they lead in a more productive way. Like these are mindsets that have helped us be successful. I have a mindset that believes that everybody needs to know this stuff, not just big companies, but small companies, not just women, but men. Anybody, any color of skin, any race, any gender, any socioeconomic background, we have a mindset that believes that human beings can change how they show up to the world if they learn how to think right, regardless of any of those variables I just mentioned. That mindset has allowed us to work with all different types of industries through keynote speaking, through workshops, through one-on-one performance coaching, right? In the sports space, in the business space, in the tech space, in the beauty space. It just doesn't matter because mindsets and the brain shows up in every industry. These are mindsets that have helped us have the courage to pursue this journey. I also have a mindset that success doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. We're in season 12 of this podcast, okay? And it's because I work with Michael Yoder at Truthwork Media, and 12 seasons ago, he said, start now. Because over time, your audience will grow and your ability to impact more people will grow. That's been a critical success driver in our ability to impact people's lives around the globe. People I don't even know who listen to this podcast. And if you're one of them and this podcast has impacted your life, send me an email because I want to know about it. Those are some of my favorite emails that pop up in my inbox, are people that I've never met that have heard this content and have decided, you know what? I'm going to change my life because of it. And so the driver of success is mindset. I've shared some examples of inside of our company mindsets or patterned ways of thinking or thoughts that we repeat, that we believe in, that have driven how we operate as an organization. But, you know, another one that I think of when I think about how mindsets drive how we show up, one of my good friends and colleagues is Paul Longo. He's a former collegiate strength coach, football strength coach. And one of the things that he shared early on with me in my collegiate football journey, where I've served as a mental performance coach, was that, you know, Doc, before they start winning, they got to stop losing. And I never really knew what he meant by that, you know, until I've gone into some programs in a rebuild and realize that, man, before we can get to winning and high performance excellence, we got to stop losing. Stop doing the things that are causing us to be average or to lose. And that's a mindset. And so it's not, you know, what can't we accomplish, but what can we accomplish here? And maybe why not you? I think in some losing programs and people maybe that have been in a slump for years of their lives, they've come up with a lot of mindsets or patterned ways of thinking of why they can't do something or why it shouldn't be them that is successful. But the better question is, why not you? What can you accomplish? I've worked with one individual over the year. I literally worked with him, and a year later I came back and I wasn't sure I was talking to the same person because he lost so much weight in a year that he looked like a different human. And he said, you know, I've started to really think about this mindset thing. And one of the mindsets that I realized that I've had in my mind and in my heart for years is that I can't lose weight. I'm bigger boned. And so I can't lose weight. And, you know, that's okay. I'm going to enjoy food and life and friends. And then I realized that I can lose weight if I put a good plan in place and actually follow it. And it's transformed his life. And so this is how mindsets at the individual level and at the organizational level, again, teams going into rebuilds or companies that have sort of been static and average for a while, you know how they take it to the next level is they break apart and smash any limiting beliefs or limiting mindsets that they've had and reconstruct new ways of thinking, of believing in their capability to do the exact thing that they've given themselves an excuse not to over the last several years or months or quarters or however it is that you measure your life. And so I want to challenge all of us today in our championship mindset training to ask yourself, what are the mindsets that I have that are limiting my ability to win, to be great as an individual, as a team member, as a parent, as a spouse? What are the mindsets that you have that are limiting you? Make a list of them. And then I want you to make a list of what are all the mindsets that you have that actually help you be great, that help you navigate adversity, that help you persist when it's really difficult or when you don't see the end in sight. What are those mindsets? And then over time, I want you to start repping championship mindsets. Break down the old mindsets that you have. What happens when we stop lifting weights? our muscles get smaller. The same thing happens with mindsets. When we stop repping those losing ways of thinking, those average ways of thinking, and start replacing them with championship ways of thinking, we can actually rewire our brain that will help us show up as the best version of ourselves and deliver that goodness and greatness that is inside of each one of us. Thanks for tuning in today. It's been awesome being with you, talking about one of my favorite topics, obviously, of mindset. If there's anything we can do for you at Selking Performance Group, keynote speaking, workshops, one-on-one performance coaching, shoot me an email directly, drselking@selkingperformance.com. Jump on our website to check out our book, Winning the Mental Game, the playbook for building championship mindsets, and meet our performance coaches that we have on staff there. We also have a lot of articles and past episodes of the podcast as well. And then follow us on all the social media platforms and let me know, how are you applying this to your life, to your world? We're on Twitter and Instagram at Champ Mindsets, on Facebook at Selking Performance Group, and we're on TikTok as well, so find us there. Thank you so much for tuning in. You've been listening to Building Championship Mindsets, the podcast. This is your host, Dr. Amber Selking, and from the locker room to the boardroom, I just want to challenge you to continue building your championship mindset.